Hey, it's Skelemystyk. I am here today in the courtyard of Darkmoor Castle to talk to you all about Wizard101 bosses. Everybody in this game, from beginning to middle to end, has a list of bosses that they don't like. And rightly so, because, well, bosses' only purpose are to crap in our Cheerios, to keep us from getting the drops that we want, because they're a bunch of stingy little ho-hos, to keep us from progressing in the game, because, well, they don't feel that we should become max levels for some odd reason. I don't know, maybe it's an evil boss union thing to keep players from advancing. I'm not quite sure what the purpose is, but in any case, all of us have at least a few bosses that we really, really hate, sometimes fear, and just generally don't want to cross paths with. In this video, I am going to showcase the top 5 Wizard101 most hated bosses of the spiral. And you'd be surprised at what the actual votes were for these bosses, because I was really surprised. Now, we're going to leave out Malistaire and Darkmoor, because that's an obvious one, that really is. And we're going to leave out Morganth, because that's an obvious one. But those two bosses aside, because pretty much everyone at one time or another farms Darkmoor for the gear and doesn't get it and leaves with a sour taste in their mouth, saying bad names about Malistaire and probably even a few choice words that we shouldn't be repeating in this video. More than likely, because I'm just about sure that Malistaire's ears are not only burning, they're on fire for all the bad things that people have had to say about him. Morganth is the same way, although less so. Back in the day, she had her time, but she ain't so big and bad now, and a lot of people have quieted down about Morganth, especially after they spanked her like... Never mind, we're not going to go there either. Especially after they've spanked her. We're just going to say that. And gone their merry way with their stuff. Those two bosses aside, let's get into the number 5 most hated boss in Wizard101. Alright? To do this properly, I'm going to pop over to where this boss is at, so you can see them in person. You give a little beady eyeball. Maybe you'll give them a little a little boo while you're watching the video. Don't give me a boo. Don't do that. Just give the boss a boo. It's all good. I don't want to check this video tomorrow and have 500 dislikes. Let's not have that. All right. So anyhow, I'm going to pop over to the number 5 boss, and we're going to talk about this boss and see what y'all think about him. I will meet you there. One moment. Number 5 on our list of most hated bosses of the spiral is Rattlebones. Now, not the Rattlebones of Unicorn Way, even though whenever you're a new player, he's kind of a pain. Not that soft, cuddly, cushy, nice little guy over there in Unicorn Way, but this fellow right here, Rattlebones in the Exalted Duel, who feels it necessary to lie, to cheat, to steal. Well, not to steal, just to keep us from getting what we want. He will punish you for being late to his party, which is sort of a surprise, because I can't imagine being like that he gets very many partygoers. He will transform to save himself. He will... You know what? I think he's done just about everything but wash his underwear. I'm pretty sure of it. Guys, this is Rattlebones, the exalted one, at least exalted in his duel. The number 5 most hated boss in the spiral. I was sort of surprised that he made it to number 5 over some other bosses. But if you've been in this duel even a few times, you can understand why. He's just wrong. Just wrong. Now that we have pretty much roasted Rattlebones and made fun of him, let's go ahead and move on up to the number 4 boss on the list. I will go over there and meet you, and we will talk about that one. Number 4 on our list of most hated bosses of the spiral. We are here in Avalon, in the lair of the Jabberwock. This dragon, I swear, seems like he got up on the wrong side of the bed every day. Every day. He's resistant to most magics, except for that every once in a while, after he's already beaten the crap out of you, whenever he's good enough to put down a 200% feint and actually make life easier for one turn. Of course, by that time, you're already proverbially licking your many and varied wounds, and you might not have enough energy left to hit him when he gives you the chance to. If you are a level appropriate wizard questing Avalon, and oh yes, you must quest Jabberwock. You must do it. If you are a level appropriate wizard in Avalon and questing Jabberwock, I highly suggest that you get on your knees and you beg and plead, not with a Jabberwock, but with some of your higher level friends to come and help you tame this beast. He is the number 4 most hated boss in the spiral. And as you can see, he's a little bit feared too. Notice how far away I'm presenting his profile from. So yeah, even though I'm a max level wizard, I don't really want to go in there and pet the dragon anyway. That's alright. I think I'll just play the better part of Valor and hightail my little bony butt up out of here. I will meet you at the number 3 boss. And here we are in the cold, windswept caves of Polaris with the number 3 most hated boss in the spiral, Omen Strybog. Omen himself, he's not all that. But have you ever been in one of those fights where you knew you could take the guy, you had no problem, you were going along really good, and then he called in his big brother Bubba, or his friend George, or somebody or other who just was too much to handle? Well, that's what old Omen here does. He ain't all that in a bag of peanuts. But whenever he goes into the fight, he calls in his buddy the Mondo Defender over there, who blocks everything that you do, making Owen, who isn't all that in a bag of peanuts, seem like he's the whole blasted peanut farm. Owen will punish you for this and punish you for that and cheat and rip and lie and all these other things, but mostly he just throws his buddies in front of you and then laughs at you from the background. He says, yeah, I got your back, way back. To be fair, Owen is the possessor of a lot of things, including a fair number of nice mounts that everybody seems to want. There is the yak in here. There is Omen's wings. There are ice skates. There are all kinds of mounts in here that just make him, in spite of being the number 3 most hated boss in the spiral, just too much of a rich target to resist. He just really is. Alright guys, this is it for Omen Strybog. I don't really want to talk about Omen anymore because, well, he's kind of getting on my nerves just standing back there behind me, making me a little bit nervous that I might get a blow behind my bony shoulders. So let's go ahead and move on up to the number 2 boss. I will see you there. And here I am in the Pantheon of the Gods with Paige Unicorn River, who delightfully decided to stay off camera, but she didn't have to, who was generous enough to let me into the number 2 most hated boss in the Spiral's domain, the Zeus Exalted Duel. This duel came out not all that long ago in the history of the Spiral, but very quickly became one of the most hated bosses in this game. Zeus, Poseidon, Hades, they will all cheat in their own ways. If you did any time, and I do mean like that way because it's almost like jail, if you did any time in Tartarus, you understand what a bunch of cheating gugas these guys are. Of course, in Tartarus, it's mostly Hades being the naughty boy. But in here, Zeus. Zeus is a naughty, naughty, bird-headed man. He will punish you for heals. The others will punish you for this. They'll punish you for that. Basically, they'll just punish you. The drops, not so bad, I guess. But I don't know if it's actually worth the pain. This boss was voted only under our top boss as the most hated boss in the Spiral. Passing up, I am surprised, a number of other fine and fair names in evil bossness. I'm not quite sure why it is, but he's gained a rep here. He has a rep for being a big fat meanie. Alright guys, that is it for Zeus. Let's move up to our most absolutely reviled, hated, crap in your Cheerios boss in the Spiral. I will meet you there. And here we are in the side gate of Darkmoor with the absolute number 1 by a good margin, absolute most hated boss in the Spiral, Aphrodite. To give her credit, she drops a ring that everybody seems to want. And as well as a ring that everybody seems to want, she drops the current best energy gear ring and a theme that there is. The highest energy gear that you can get right now, still after all this time. So she has some desirable goods somewhere in that lettuce leaf stomach of hers that everybody wants. The problem is, she is just about the most scandalous cheat that they have. I think she was early on one of the beginning of the cheating bosses whenever the game devs started using cheating bosses. Aphrodite will hit you right off the bat, early on, with an auto hit debuff that not only gives you a debuff to damage and heals, but does some damage over time to you as well. She has these 4 wonderful, I call them wonderful very sarcastically, little tentacles that come in life, death, and myth school in various percentages thereof. Sometimes you get all life, sometimes you get all death, and unfortunately sometimes you get all myth, but mostly you get a mixture of them. You must hit every single time, or she applies that debuff again and again and again and again. Once I almost successfully soloed this boss. I killed off 2 of the tentacles and had the other 2 almost gone before they got me. I am going to continue to work on this, guys. One day I will be able to solo this boss and I will share with you how it's done. But for now, Aphrodite, by a fair margin, remains the absolute most hated boss in Wizard101. Guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video nearly as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did, please hit that like button, a good heart smash, and as well subscribe and share. It's going to help me and the channel out greatly. Until next time, this is Skelemystyk reminding you that whatever else you do, always love the game. Peace! Hey, what's up, I'm Skelemystyk. I am here today in the Wizard City Commons to talk about something that is near and dear to most all wizards' hearts. And some more than others, but pretty much everyone's heart. And that is the subject of easy mega snacks. A lot of you'll go to Winterbane